Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another beautiful day in the stock market. Today is Friday, and you guys know what that means. Sadly, it is the end of the stock week. So, looking at this overall economical calendar, we have a lot of information coming out before the market even opens. We have PCE index, PCE price index, inflation, all this crazy stuff, employment cost index. So, we got a lot of information coming out. But overall, let's get into the chart. So hopefully you guys have been following me for a while. We've been speaking about this time and time after again. Ever since we've seen this 1 year, we're on the 1 year, 1 day SPY chart over here. And the charts do not lie, right? So trading can be hard. Trading is not like an overnight success. But if you guys are willing to put in the work and come to watch these videos and absorb the information I'm trying to give you guys can basically be profitable. The hardest part about trading is basically the whole mindset about everything, right? I could teach you how to trade, but if you see a reversal, are you going to let your ego go because you already had a plan that it was going to go one way to actually sell that stock? So that's the hardest part about trading is your overall mental ego. But overall, the charts do not lie. So we had that 1 year crossover, right? Which signal a bullish trend. I told you guys, hey, look at the RSI. RSI is probably one of my favorite indicators, as you guys know. It lets me know the overall strength and possibility of where that stock has potential to go. And as you can see, I said, hey, we could possibly even go to even 430 over here, 420, and you can see we're heading that way with speed. So looking at yesterday, if we drop down over towards the 180 day, we had that pullback. Overall, why did we have that pullback? If we drop down towards the 20-day over here, we had that pullback in the morning because overall the market is overbought and it's still overbought and it's continuing to be overbought, and it's a high risk to even take a long position. But as long as we stay in the red zone on the RSI, we can continue to go up. Once it starts to come out that red zone, that's when you get those drastic pullbacks. So keep in mind over that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So we're going to drop down towards the 180 day. 180 day is overbought. We hit a high basically of 409 yesterday. So that's pretty beautiful. If we break 409 or that 410 level, we have another gap up towards 417, 420 range. We're very overbought over here. So you definitely want to be careful as well. But we're still above that 180 day trend line, right? So even if we pull back, we're still going to be bullish as long as we hold above this blue line over here, as long as we hold above that trade line. So unless we break 405, then we could start breaking down towards 400, maybe lower from there. But we could possibly have a pullback, touch the trade line. That's actually what happened yesterday. We had a pullback, touch the trade line, and then we started to basically take off from there. You can see yesterday we kind of broke it, held below that trade line, and then we basically didn't have a candle open and close below that trade line. So that is still a sign of bullishness, right? So we just pull back, retest that trade line. So looking at the 20-day, you can see the 20-day MACD is crossed down. We are overbought. So if we start to break below 408, we could start going down towards 405. This dotted line is representing that 180-day trade line. So we could come down here, maybe even lower. There's more possibility for downside at this time. But if we stay in the red zone, then we could continue up and watch for that 410 break. And then we could start going to 415 and possibly higher. Next stock we're going to talk about Tesla. So looking at Tesla, we have a few other stocks to watch as well too. But Tesla, right? We said Tesla was showing a step and staircase. It was basically showing some type of strength. And look at Tesla, right? We said that it could possibly double top here or break out at that 844. But overall, Tesla ended up breaking it. And we're at 858 right now. Very overbought as well too. If we start to break that 846 over here, we could start dropping down to 821. 846 area was that previous high before. So once traders see that we break that level, they're going to be like, oh no, there's a sign of weakness and we could basically come down, right? So let me just throw a line at this 858.06. We're going to jump over towards the 180 day. So jumping over towards the 180 day, you can see our previous high over here. MACD is still cross up, RSI is overbought. It's been more overbought before. So if we start to run up today, right, we could possibly run up towards even 892. 892 is basically previous highs over here, back near May and stuff like that. So watch out for that as well too. If we basically go to the long side. Next stock we're going to talk about is Meta. So Meta had earnings recently. You can see that basically we say, hey, if it breaks above 161, we could start basically pushing up towards 168. It's struggling to do that. So want to watch out to see what's going to happen. This is a very strong support zone over here. You can see that we tested it multiple times. So once we start to break 157, we can start dropping down to 153, maybe lower from there. Until we get a significant breakout from either or section, we're not going to see a nice move on Meta, right? So maybe people are staying away from it. Now, speaking about earnings, we had a few earnings pop up yesterday. So we had Apple, Amazon, Roku. So those are top names that we were talking about earlier. So let's jump back to the charts over here. So Apple had earnings yesterday. So if we look at Apple over here, Apple's basically, let's see. So it looks like Apple beat. Yeah, Apple beat. It's on this up. It was already on the uptrend. You can see this line is already here. Very overbought. We're seeing an overall trend right now where a lot of stocks are overbought. Even if that 1 year's pointed up, even if we have overall confirmation for bullishness right now, it's only natural for stocks to want to pull back to make room for a higher high, right? So definitely want to be careful with Apple this morning, especially since it's so overbought on the 180 day. It's been on a bullish trend. It may be time for a breather, maybe even time to basically retest this trend line over here, maybe even come down towards like 152. So watch out for that. On the break of 148, we could start dropping down towards 152. Or if we break that 164, we could possibly even push up towards that 170 over here. You can see 170 was a previous high. Even 167, you could watch out for. 167, we did kind of break out and come back. But overall, it is very overbought. Key thing is in this, if we're running overbought, use a stop loss. Use a stop loss as a trail, right? Use a stop loss. Nothing, you can't go wrong by using a stop loss, right? Even if you want to let it run, use a stop loss, and whatever profits you make, be satisfied with it, right? So next one we're going to talk about, I believe was Amazon, right? Amazon had earnings yesterday. So let's jump over to the chart for Amazon. Wow, big beat on Amazon, right? So we can see that Amazon jumped up. So let's see what happened. So they expected, oh, it wasn't, they must have had good guidance because they didn't really necessarily beat. So that's the key thing about earnings. That's why I don't play earnings. Anything could happen, even if they miss or beat. It's all depending on how they word everything, right? So Amazon, we're very overbought over here as well too, sitting up, made a high basically at 138, throwing a line on top of that 138 because something stopped this stock from going higher. That is the resistance, right? So next we want to watch for the next possible resistance. Next possible resistance is 144. So watch for that 139 to 144 for a possible long position. Now I'm going to switch this over to a dotted orange line to represent the 180-day trade line. And let's jump down towards the 20-day. Now, if the 20-day breaks, we could break from 134 and start going to 130 and maybe lower from there. We could possibly even go down towards like 125 if we start to come down. You can see we're already starting to taper off over here, right? Whenever you guys see a stock push up and start to go sideways, that's either a red flag, meaning that we're finding some type of resistance. It's going to go back and forth between that trade line until we either break out either or to the upside or downside. So watch for that 134 break down towards 130, or watch for the 139 break to the upside. And I think Roku, right? Roku was terrible. Roku basically dropped crazy. So Roku dropped from 87 down towards 60, which is a crazy drop on Roku. But definitely want to watch to see how this is going to basically play, because it is very oversold right now. Even though it basically had bad earnings and it dropped, technicals are still technicals, right? We're oversold. So watch for the break above $68, and then we could start basically going up towards 78, since there is basically like a gap to be filled. So I'm going to set my alerts just in case Roku pops or whatever. Let me see any kind of news on Roku as well. So they got basically price downgrades as well too, from 125 to 85. So everything's pretty much higher than what it is, even a downgrade to 75, downgrade to 70, 95. So let's see what happens with Roku. Could possibly be more downside if we keep on rejecting that 20-day trade line over here. If we keep on rejecting over here at that 68, we could basically come down, watch for the break of $60.50, not even that 58, $60.50, or even if you want to wait for that 60 break, then we could possibly go lower from there. I think this is the 180-day low too. This is a terrible chart. You could always tell how good or bad a company is doing by looking at that 180-day. We went from 283 to $60, so that is terrible. So let's drop down towards the 1 year. This is the 1 year low too. This is wild. But yeah, from 60, we could start going down to like 55, 50s. You could always go by the chart on the side over here. It'll show you where the next possible area. You can see like 55 down here. So let's see what happened. It is oversold. I do think we may have some type of bounce. Maybe it'll go sideways and people probably stay away from it for a while. Let's see what happens though. But overall, today is Friday, same day expiration day. So you guys know what that means. Trade with extreme caution, especially if you're trading same days. If you don't want to trade those type of volatility of contracts and you don't want your contracts racing to zero, make sure you guys get next week expirations. So that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys love the video. Give this video a like. If you are interested in any other stocks or anything like that you want me to throw into the rotation for the watch list, anything you guys want me to talk about, put it in the comments. Don't be shy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.